Hello everyone, welcome to a new process video today. I'm still working on my Munich series and today is another one-pager because I have several things happening here and I'm gonna have to do a little bit more work to this one, I think. Now, one of the things to note about this, it is a 6x8 pocket page and I have one pocket card here. However, I don't really want to journal anything and I have the date in several places already. So I think I'm gonna have to cover up part of this. I just don't know how I'm going to do it yet. And then I have this cut out to use this paper as the card because I like that it says Germany. And then I have a partial photo here, but it looks kind of boring just leaving it like that. So that needs something, but again, I'm not sure exactly what right now. I love this photo as it is. There is some dead space, so I could maybe utilize that with stamping or a label or something. And then this one, I don't know that I can do much with it at all. It's pretty full in the frame of the photo, so that one may end up being left as is. So those are kind of my problems that I have to deal with on this page. So I'm going to get started. So when I was looking at this card, trying to figure out what I could do with it to cover up this area, I think I found something. I went into my travel stash of stuff and I found this cork embellishment. And I believe this is from Allie Edwards, from her travel kit stuff that she put out. I could be wrong, but I think it is. And it would almost cover up everything. Now you would be able to see these lines peeking out and this little number, whatever, there. But I don't think it's that distracting that it matters. So I think I am going to use it and it'll just get placed right there under where it says field notes and it'll just be like that. And I don't think that creates a problem. Now, one thing I do want to say is I have used some cork embellishments before. I've actually made some of my own just by stamping on them and then punching them out. What I have discovered is you cannot use glue dots with these on the back because if you try to reposition at all, it will rip the cork. So I recommend just using a liquid glue. This is my liquid glue of choice. You can use whatever you like, but that's the best way I have found to adhere those pieces. I have the cork piece adhered to the card and it still looks kind of blank to me. This contrasts nicely with the color of these other buildings, but it's still a very neutral color palette. There is some tiny green in here, right here, and I think I'm going to use that to my advantage. So I'm going to do a little bit of splattering on the card, and I'm going to use my Memories Miss. This is Margarita is the color, and there's no glitter in this whatsoever. It's just a standard color, but it does give a nice, subtle, soft matte look to it, and I think that would be perfect with this layout. It doesn't really need anything glittery or shimmery, so I'm going to go with this one. So I did the splattering on the card, and I had somewhat of a mishap here. I'm okay with that I got some, on the embellishment or whatever, but this big glop happened. And I don't know that I can live with that. When it's totally dry, I'll make the decision, but I may have to try to cover that up with some other little embellishment or make a little cluster or I don't know what, but I may have to deal with that. But for now, that one is done. I went into my stash to find something for this photo because even though the frame is quite full, I wanted to bring in that green again. And I did find this. It just says around town. And I think I'll either just put it to the right side, one side or the other, and attach it. You know what? Actually, when I'm looking at this, would it be better up here? I don't want to cut off the top of the building. I could maybe put it here. But then there's nothing green on this photo. Well, one of them is going to be without green somewhere. Okay, I thought I knew what I was doing, but I guess I don't. So I need a minute to think about that some more. So I'm still not sure about where to put this. So I'm going to leave it for now. And I'm going to focus on this pocket up here. And I did find something that I might be able to use in addition to it. I have some elements that are specific to Germany. They're from a digital file I bought, and so I just printed out the little label. And I'm thinking that I can adhere this like so. I don't want to lose the Germany at the bottom. And then, these bigger letters, you don't see the whole word Germany, so it would be fine, I think, to cover that up. And I might just do that, or perhaps tuck it behind and staple it or something. I don't know, but I have that idea. Then I'm also thinking of doing this. I'm thinking I may stamp directly on the photo, but go vertically. That isn't something I do a lot, but I'm willing to give it a try because everything else here is very horizontal. This goes horizontally, you know, the words here do, this does. So just to mix things up. And so I pulled out this stamp set. It's called Away from Carrie Bradford Studio. I just got this a couple weeks ago, actually. So it's very new, and I think I've only used one of these so far. And I thought that because it says Germany on there, that I could use this one. I like where this is. And since I'm not doing any other journaling, I really don't have anything to say. They're just buildings, but they're beautiful. I do like where it is, and I think that says enough. So I think I will stamp first to make sure I don't screw it up. And if I do screw it up, I can reprint. But I'll stamp first before I adhere it to the card. All right, I'm ready to stamp. I primed the stamp once. I just stamped it with my StazOn ink on a piece of paper to make sure I was going to get good coverage, and it looks good. I did realize that this is a glossy finish. If I know ahead of time I'm going to stamp on a photo, I try to do it in matte, but I didn't know that, and so this is glossy, but hopefully it'll be fine. That's what StazOn ink is made for, is slick surfaces so that it doesn't smear around. So we're going to hope that it works. And I think I'm going to go like right about there. Hopefully you can see that well on camera. Here we go. And I try not to move it too much, even though I want good coverage. Well, shoot. It's not as clear as I want it to be. It did shift a little bit. Can you see that? I can't tell. Hopefully the camera is focusing on it. Yep, you know what? I think I'm going to cover it up. So, or I'll reprint. I'll be back in a minute. All right, I've decided I'm actually going to stamp on a label and cover it up. And since I'm trying to work in some green anyway, I'm going to use my garden green ink. And then I have this stamp set, which, oh, where is this from? I think it's from Altenew. Pretty sure. But then I bought it because then I can make labels whenever I want and whatever color I want. So it works perfectly for this. So that'll be my next task. There's my green label. I'm going to give this a go again. I'm not going to switch out inks. Normally I would use my Memento black ink rather than StazOn if it's just normal cardstock, but it'll be fine. I'm not going to take the time to switch out. So I just need to make sure that I can get that centered in there as best as possible. There we go. That's better. All right. So then what I will do is I will cut out the label and I will adhere it over the part that I screwed up. After I did the stamping on the label, when I went to adhere it, it was a little too wide. I didn't like it with the full border. So I chose to cut off the top green part and just do it right at the line here and then adhere it that way and add a mini staple. So it's not exactly how I thought it was going to look, but I think it'll work all right, and it does bring in a little bit more green. All I had was that little bit there, so it does balance out the photo nicely. So I think I will just adhere that, and then what did I do? Here we go. And then I'm going to tuck this under the photo as well. All right, so there's the finished card after all that extra work. I actually like the way it looks, and you wouldn't know that I screwed up over there unless you had seen this, so yay. No one else will know when they're looking at it. So then I'm still trying to figure out what's happening here, and I think now that I added this on this card, I'm actually glad I didn't adhere this previously, because now for sure I'm going to put it down here, because that's a lot of green, so it needs to be balanced out. So that will go there. So I put this on there. I also made a little pennant tail to it there because I thought it mimicked this shape here. So I have that. And then I thought, well, every card or photo has green except this one. And it felt weird. And I know I said I didn't need glitter in here, but look what I found. I have these little acrylic arrows and it has glitter in it. So, oh, you know what? I think this is actually the top. It's a textured surface. Yes, I have to glue it on this side. So I'm thinking I'm going to put that right here. And it certainly brings in the bling factor, which I don't know that it needs necessarily, but I think it's okay. And I've had these forever. I think they're from Stampin' Up. When else am I going to use them? So I'm going to put it on there. All right, I have adhered the arrow to the photo. Now, I did use my multi-liquid glue here, and I got a little too much on there. Now, the nice thing about that glue, if you've never used it, is that it does show white here, so you can see I had a little bit too much around the edges, but that will dry clear, so it really won't affect anything. I can't put it in the pocket yet because it's still drying. That will take a little bit, but once it's dry, it'll look fine. So I'm counting this one as done. So thanks for sticking with me through my mistakes today and waiting to see the end product. Thanks for watching, everyone.